The following episode of the Kingdom of Isolation contains footage from the film being discussed. The footage is used solely for the purposes of education, commentary, and criticism under fair use. Please support the animators by watching this film on Disney Plus or home media where available. This episode also contains spoilers throughout.
Hello my fellow Disney fans and welcome to the Kingdom of Isolation, where in times of trouble why not celebrate the magic of Disney. My name is Kenzie and today we're going to be looking at Atlantis 2, Milo's Return, released direct to video in the year 2003. Now this episode is going to explore how the sequel builds upon the world introduced in the original film. In Atlantis Lost Empire, which is the first film that released in 2001, viewers follow linguist Milo on a daring expedition to find the lost city of Atlantis. Alongside a colourful crew, Milo uncovers ancient secrets, faces betrayal, and ultimately helps the Atlanteans rediscover their heritage and power. Atlantis, Milo's Return, picks up after these events, with Milo settling into life in Atlantis, with the sequel shifting into a series of adventures as the team travels the surface world, investigating mysterious occurrences linked to Atlantis' powerful artifacts. While it lacks the grand scope of the first film, The Kingdom of Isolation, here we're going to note how the sequel focuses on camaraderie, action-packed encounters, and ties up the fate of favourite characters, giving fans a taste of Atlantis beyond the original story. Like many of Disney's direct-to-video sequels, this was intended as a pilot for a TV series. Oh, God damn it, I thought we were done with this! This is evident by the episodic structure of the plot, which would be cut into 3 separate episodes for the show's regular run. However, due to the disappointing box office of Atlantis Lost Empire, production of the series was halted and the ending was rewritten to provide closure. Team Atlantis, which was the name of the show, or what was going to be the name of the show, was meant to take place in the same universe as Gargoyles, just 80 years earlier. And one story would have had them in Paris, with Sweet treating Demona's injuries at Notre Dame. Wouldn't this have made more sense to tie in with Hunchback of Notre Dame? The praying gargoyle that Demona would use in her plan during Hunter's Moon would have been powered by an Atlantean crystal. Scripts and voice recording of the episode can be seen at The Gathering conventions. Marina Sirtis would have reprised her role as Demona, and Fiona Canmore is voiced by Sheena Easton. Greg Wiseman, who wrote the episode, planned to use the story for the Gargoyles comic book series. He said if he is unable to use the Atlantis characters, then he will use the analogs for the story. Wiseman has stated that while the episode The Last is canon in the Gargoyles universe, Team Atlantis as a whole is not. In fact, the Team Atlantis interpretations of the Loch Ness Monster and Puck differ from those seen in Gargoyles. Presumably, due to the commitment he had with films that were able to release in theaters at the time, Milo's voice actor from the first film, Michael J. Fox, did not return to voice him in the sequel, and was replaced with James Arnold Taylor, who had previously filled in for Fox in the first film's video game adaptation. This was also the last Disney Toon Studios film involved with Walt Disney Television Animation in a direct-to-video film. This was the final film role for Florence Stanley, who died of a stroke just months after production had ceased. The first mystery with the Kraken is based on the idea of the Call of Cthulhu, with the town's dark and strange people who act as if they're not human, and a dark secret that might bring the end of humanity. Now, originally, Disney was developing a sequel titled Shards of Chaos, but it was abandoned once The Lost Empire was less successful than anticipated. The series would have featured episodes with different legends incorporated, such as, again, Puck, the Loch Ness Monster, and the Terracotta Warriors. According to James Arnold Taylor, he said that the show would have been either 18 or 24 episodes long. And I'm not kidding when I say this, that's all the behind the scenes information that I have. So let's just get to the film then, shall we?
Det hyggelig å sette seil med lysene på, uten å måtte bekymre seg over ubåter.
And no, your eyes do not deceive you. This is actually how it starts. We have a Kraken taking down a ship for some reason.
But now we are reborn!
And we have this. We also have this. Again, for some reason. What happened to the character she had from the first film? We are barely 2 minutes into this film, and they have already butchered her character. This is gonna be another long one, isn't it? Kida is now married to Milo now, and we are supposed to know this. How? Why? Reasons? Details, Disney! They are important! She went from trying to protect Atlantis alongside Milo to this. What did I say about character development? Previously? Less than 2 minutes into the film, and you've already assassinated her character! You can also tell right out of the gate that the animation quality just screams TV show. Back to the throne room she goes after that sequence. So let's just get the cast out of it. James Arnold Taylor as Milo, Cree Summer as Kida, John Mahoney as Whitmore, Jacqueline Obradors as Audrey, Don Novello as Vinny, Corey Burton as Mole, Phil Morris as Dr. Sweet, Florence Stanley as Mrs. Packard in her final film role before passing away, Frank Welker as Obi-Wan Mantell, the Lava Dog, Steve Barr as Cookie, Clancy Brown as Volgood, last seen as Undertow in Little Mermaid 2, top right of your screens, so that you can see me go through what I feel is a much better film compared to this. Eugene Gilpin as Inga, Kyle Larson as Seaman, Bill Fagerbark as Sven, last seen here in The Kingdom of Isolation as Mooch and Lady in the Trap 2, Tom Wilson as Carnaby, yes, that Tom Wilson, Thomas F. Wilson, who played Biff Tannen in the Back to the Future trilogy. He goes from Back to the Future to being one of the elemental masks in Crash Bandicoot: The Wrath of Cortex to this. That's a hell of a downfall. From Back to the Future, one of the greatest movie trilogies of all time, to this. Floyd Westerman as Chikasi, Jeff Bennett as Sam McKean, last seen in Patch's London Adventure, and Morgan Shepherd as Eric Hellstrom.
My people are thriving again. We have uncovered secrets lost for thousands of years. The city is once again a center of knowledge and learning, instead of a place of ignorance and fear.
Ignorance and fear? You had one group of explorers finding Atlantis. I'd hardly call that a time of ignorance and fear. And that was just one team. You mean to tell me you've had more teams before this and after this? It's like you didn't even watch the first film. And oh, quite conveniently, they have intruders now. Oh, goody. You ever look at ideas and think this should not have been made? This is one of them.
There are intruders approaching the city!
Wait! They're not intruders! They're friends!
Jump into conclusions. Kida is supposed to be the Queen of Atlantis. Did she suddenly develop useless Canadianitis? Milo's friends pay a visit to make Milo aware of trouble above the surface.
When it's alive, you don't have to swallow so hard. Just point them head first so they know which way to crawl.
Ugh.
I'm with you on that one. Gross. Said creature is supposedly a Leviathan. Now, is that seriously what the pre-title scene was? Milo and Kida decide to help everyone, and off to the surface we go, where we get more character assassination, with Kida acting like a child rather than someone who's genuinely curious.
Everything in your world is new to me. The sky, the clouds, everything on this ship. What is this?
Last time we shot at the Leviathan, these things didn't even tickle it.
Audrey, if you keep hitting that thing, we're gonna be tickled all over these walls.
You mean you've tried to deal with this before? Oh boy. This is gonna end well. Vinny claims to have made his own mix of explosives to Audrey, which apparently has some oregano included to make a very nice boom. His words, not mine. According to a paper Milo has, said Leviathan is actually a kraken.
No critter of flesh and blood can bring down a steel cargo ship.
Something's got the ship!
You just couldn't keep your mouth shut, Mole. You just couldn't keep your mouth shut. Into the sub-pods the team go, and predictably one of them goes wrong. 3 guesses who? Yep, of course it's Milo and Kita, which starts leaking, leading the team to having to rescue them, and the Kraken just disappeared somehow. So Team Atlantis, which was the name of the cancelled TV series, head to a fishing village to wait for rescue to arrive. They're introduced to Volgud, who says the innkeeper will give them rooms the night before they head to Trondheim the following morning. Watch Volgud be the bad guy with this episode. Yeah, that's how I'm describing these going forward. This isn't a film. This is 3 separate episodes, just stitched together with nothing to connect them other than the characters and the setting. There's no wraparound sections like they have in Cinderella 2. And I did not think I'd be praising Cinderella 2.
But do not cross Edgar Volgud and leave as soon as you can.
I'm telling you he's the bad guy in this episode. So they decide to follow Volgud anyway, getting lost in the fog in the process. Great. Why am I not surprised? They head down the cliff. Audrey's ordered not to jump, but decides to jump anyway. Loses a glove only for Molly Ex Machina to intervene. Back at the inn.
Gather the possessions of the strangers and burn them.
What did I say? What did I say? He supposedly made a deal with the devil, while the innkeeper tells the story. Molly finds an entrance to a cave, so in we go to find Volgud already in there. Eyes glowing green to summon the Kraken. Team Atlantis lose Audrey, who's under the hypnosis, and she's meant to be one of the competent members of the team. Don Harper does the music for this film, by the way, whose credits include The Guardian, National Treasure, Training Day, Armageddon, The Rock, Twister, Broken Arrow, Assassins, and Speed, Lion King 1.5, Tarzan and Jane, The Magnificent Seven, and Twilight Zone TV series, and the TV movie Houdini. The Kraken has a firm grip of Audrey. Vinny throws some dynamite at the ceiling to delay the Kraken, and back to the subpods they go to stop said Kraken.
What are you waiting for? Fire the thing!
Oh, great, Vinny's under the influence now, and not just... Ugh. He also fires not just at Audrey, but Milo as well. I really know how to rush this along. Vinny then gets the idea, after being knocked out of the influence thanks to Molly. Vinny gets the idea to blow Milo's broken sub from earlier up. So the rest of the team follow. Torpedoes go kaboom, ending Volgud and the Kraken, curse lifted, and the end of the episode. That's how quickly they rush through this. 1 episode down, 2 to go.
Maybe the crystal's too powerful. Maybe it should remain buried.
But your people, they've regained so much. Could you put them in darkness again?
Next stop, the Southwest, where to deal with some coyotes. A bit abrupt with Sam in bed with bandages with no explanation as to how he got there. He ends up waking up and starts explaining. I don't even know.
Got a little sleepy in the foot. Would you mind giving it a rub?
1, gross. 2, we did not need to see that. The coyotes are nothing more than sand spirits with demonic red eyes.
In a pot.
What pot?
In a crate.
What crate?
In my shack.
What shack?
Seriously, get on with it! They head to the shack to investigate the sand coyotes that injured Sam.
Why would someone want to steal a glass case?
Yep, she has the useless Canadianitis. She even buys the Crystal Guardian without even negotiating a price for it. She would be worse than hopeless on The Apprentice. Milo does have to wonder where he gets the artifacts from.
But the older pieces are 100% authentic, I assure you.
Any moment anyone says anything's 100% authentic, you know it's going to be 100% false and 100% BS. So Team Atlantis are shot out of the shack. Great. They pass the same guy on the same road, not once, but not twice, but 3 times. Definitely not sus at all. Turns out, he's one of the Sand Coyote spirits.
The path of the stars, the time to plant, how to heal themselves.
So he knows about the ancient forces of the desert. Yeah, this guy's sus. This guy's definitely sus. Make of that what you will. The Sand Coyotes hunt Team Atlantis down, causing them to crash. Fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Unsurprisingly, Audrey is
absolutely livid
at being stuck with only basic tools to fix the truck. And somehow, they're back at the shack to question the owner.
Save it. I'm not superstitious.
I smell old pottery.
Can you scream one-dimensional antagonist any louder for those at the back? Molly manages to decipher the location Sam found the pottery at. Disney, you have this backwards. The comedy characters are the ones who are competent, and the main team, who are supposed to be the competent ones, have the combined IQ of the useless Canadian. You've got it backwards. So off to get the pottery they go, while the Sand Coyotes watch on. Molly digs through to save Team Atlantis from the Sand Coyotes, revealing a hidden city with cultures from all over the world. So Mr. One Note has some sleeping gas to keep everything for himself. You absolute one-dimensional scum. Yay. I think this is going to end up being worse than Hunchback 2 on the scoreboard. Lights dynamite, off he goes. Lava Dog takes care of the ropes while Milo is tasked with taking care of the dynamite. And Mr. One Note is left defeated by the Sand Coyotes. Team Atlantis promises to keep all of this a secret.
The secret you carry is neither good nor bad. A strong leader must have the wisdom to know when to share that knowledge.
Kira wants Atlantis to be part of the surface world again.
A winter thunderstorm?
No! No! No, you cannot just jump cut from a desert to a winter storm like that. You cannot just do that. Seriously, why? At least have something in between instead of just jumping straight to the final episode. A spear has been stolen by someone who's obsessed with Odin. 3 guesses what role that character will have.
With the Spear of Destiny, shall I, Odin, King of the Northern Gods, end this world.
Okay, so he's claiming to be Odin. Great. Eric Hellstrom is the name of the guy claiming to be Odin. Goody. Lunatic with an obsession. How many times have I seen this? Motivation? Stock market crash. The only antagonist to actually have something like this. The other 2? Nope. Antagonists because reasons. Ragnarok is on the horizon, with the spear being used to bring about said Ragnarok. Final stop, Iceland, and mercifully less than 20 minutes to go.
Well, there was that Indian wind god, spirit, whatever, Kragan. Yeah, the Kragan might have been a god.
One job, Vinny. You had one job while Audrey's AFK. They make it to Asgard, home of the Norse gods, to confront Odin. They confront an ice monster, which misses them, even if it's for a brief moment.
You missed us!
Again, bears repeating. You just couldn't keep your mouth shut. Plane crashes. Eventually. Are you trying to pad the runtime and prolong my suffering? Odin frees Team Atlantis from the ice only for his obsession to consume him. Odin casts them out of Asgard and Mol is tasked with digging them back in. Kira is now dressed as Odin's daughter for some reason. This isn't obsession anymore. This is borderline lunacy and madness. They escape the castle, use a door for a ski jump. Their words, not mine. They use Milo as a rudder to try and escape the ice monster, while Odin and Kira are at the volcano about to cause Ragnarok. I'm supposed to be intimidated by this? Seriously, I'm supposed to be intimidated by this? I'm not kidding when I say this. I have felt absolutely nothing throughout this film. Odin thinks Milo is Loki. The lava dog throws one of the wolves into the lava, while Team Atlantis try to stop Ragnarok. Fire meets ice, while Team Atlantis enact their plan to end Ragnarok, with fire fighting ice, while Kira takes the spear and ends Ragnarok. Can you rush through this any faster? They take the spear back to Atlantis and use it to bring Atlantis back to the surface. That's it? That's it? That was very anticlimactic. I struggled to get through this just from how bored I was. There was no mention at all of Milo and Kira being married outside of what we see at the beginning and the end. And even then, I had to read the synopsis of this film to find out. Let's just get to the scores and get this over with. Story, 2 points. The plot is both just disjointed and rushed, jumping abruptly between settings and major events with little cohesion or emotional weight. The character motivations are thin, with antagonists often feeling shoehorned in rather than organically developed. The supposed high stakes of Ragnarok never managed to inspire any real tension or investment, and the conclusion feels both anticlimactic and poorly earned. Overall, the narrative fails to engage or satisfy, leaving much to be desired. The characters? 1 point. Characters are woefully underdeveloped, lacking any meaningful growth or depth throughout the story. Their actions and motivations are rarely explored, resulting in a cast that feels more like caricatures than actual people. Relationships, such as that between Milo and Kira, are barely acknowledged, and the new characters are introduced without proper context or purpose. Ultimately, the lack of compelling characterization makes it impossible to care about their journey or outcomes. Visuals, 2 points. The animation throughout is lackluster, with uninspired backgrounds and character designs that do little to capture the grandeur or mystique of Norse mythology, for instance. Action sequences are muddled and confusing, lacking both clarity and creativity, while the color palette feels drab and repetitive. There are fleeting moments where the visuals attempt something more ambitious, but these are few and far between, leaving the overall aesthetic feeling flat and forgettable. Soundtrack, 1 point. 1 miserable point. The soundtrack is equally uninspired, failing to enhance or complement the action on screen. Musical cues are generic and forgettable, lacking any of the emotional punch or thematic resonance that could have elevated the narrative. Instead of immersing the viewer in the story's world, the score simply fades into the background, offering little more than a monotonous accompaniment to an already lackluster experience. And let's just get this out of the way. The legacy, big fat 0. This doesn't even have a score on Rotten Tomatoes. It only has an audience score. 24% score with the audience. It only has 1 review from the critics, and that was from Empire Magazine. 2 out of 5 stars. Another soulless sequel from Disney. They describe the artwork as basic and economical. The Scooby-Doo style stories are... They describe the Scooby-Doo story styles as vapid and the dialogue as terribly preachy and insufferably monotonous. And I agree. But again, you check Rotten Tomatoes, and there is absolutely no score for the film. I'm struggling to find any words outside of the script. This film leaves virtually no lasting impression, failing to contribute anything meaningful to the Atlantis mythos or to stand out with within the broader landscape of animated adventure. There's no sense of impact or influence, and it's hard to imagine anyone revisiting or referencing this entry in the future. Its forgettable nature cements its place as an unnecessary and uninspired addition to the Disney library. So unsurprisingly, do not watch this film. Just pretend it doesn't exist. So overall, this film has a score of a miserable 12%.
Congratulations, you're a failure.
2 for the story, 1 for the characters, 2 for the visuals, 1 for the soundtrack. Add those together, you get 6 points. Double it, 12 points, and there's your 12%. This places the film at the very bottom of the Kingdom of Isolation scoreboard, even ranking below the likes of Hunchback of Notre Dame 2, which is an actual film. Its lack of redeeming qualities means it fails to leave any notable mark, cementing its reputation as one of the weakest entries in animated adventure. And I'm just glad that it's over with. That being said, hope you enjoyed this episode of the Kingdom of Isolation, just getting Atlantis 2 over with at this point. If you enjoyed this episode, hit the thumbs up. And if you want to be part of the Kingdom of Isolation yourself, hit the subscribe button down at the bottom, click the bell, turn on notifications so you don't miss when an episode goes live on this channel. And you'll have noticed, yeah, I've been busy over the last week or so just getting these episodes out ASAP so that I'm on schedule so that I can get Pooh's Heffalump Halloween movie out on Halloween. And I will have my costume on for that episode. But we're not heading back to the 100-acre wood just yet, because we have got another trip to Pride Rock to worry about, and that trip involving...
Man, now this title's a knockout!
Also known over here in the UK as Lion King 3, Hakuna Matata. Until then, Lion King 1.5, please be better than this. But until then, make your film count, and I'll see you guys next time in the Kingdom of Isolation. 12%.